What's up guys, Ja Lord here. Today I'm going to talk to you about a very touching issue that a lot of my viewers are going to have differing opinions on. And I have spoken a lot about this issue on Twitter already. You can follow me on Twitter at _JLloyd_ if you want to see more of what I have to say outside of YouTube. But today I'm going to talk to you about the police shooting of Stephon Clark and why I highly condemn it. As many of you know, on the night of March 18th, which was about 2 weeks ago, Stephon Clark, a black man in Sacramento, California, was in his grandparents' backyard on his phone when two police officers got called and they shot him 20 times. And of those 20 bullets, 8 of them hit his body. All of them were capable of causing death. And I highly condemn this lynching, that's what I'm going to call it, because this guy wasn't committing any crimes. And the officers claimed that they feared for their life and felt threatened, which is the usual excuse they use when they kill unarmed black people. And I hope to God that the officers are held accountable for their actions, but in the land of the free and home of the brave, our justice system is rooted in white supremacy, so I'm get the feeling that's not going to happen, unfortunately. It has also since come out that Stephon Clark was not only a Muslim and black, but he was a loving father, had a wife, and had adorable children. It saddens my heart to see that these children are going to grow up without a father, and that his widow is going to have to raise the children on her own. And to make matters worse, when Stephon Clark's body was presented to the local mosque, they couldn't perform the usual ritual cleaning that Muslim people do with their dead, because Stephon Clark's body was so disfigured from the bullets that hit it that they couldn't do it, and they had to do a substitute ritual instead. And his Muslim brothers and sisters described it as too horrifying to look at. It sickens me to see that the two cops involved in this could not only could they not see Stephon Clark as another human being who wasn't even breaking the law and was on his own family's property, but all they saw was a living, breathing stereotype of a black criminal. We see this in our society all too often with people like Michael Brown, Eric Garner, Tamir Rice, Sandra Bland, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Count Stephon Clark, and countless other black and brown lives who have been lynched by police officers these days. And many of these police systems are rooted in white supremacy, as is our criminal justice system, as police often have a completely different set of rules than us regular citizens do. And it is sad to see that the majority of these killer cops will never see a day in prison. And I highly condemn that. After doing my own research on what happened with Stephon Clark and looking into the whole situation, I have concluded that there is no possible way to justify killing him. If you think the officers who shot and killed Stephon Clark were in the right, along with the officers who killed Tamir Rice, Eric Garner, Mike Brown, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Sandra Bland, if you believe any of those cops who did that were in the right, then you are a bona fide racist. That's right. As someone who lives in Southern Maryland, I see this all the time when I leave the house, especially at work, at my work. All this rampant talk of like police shootings and along with the school shootings that have happened in recent weeks too, they're calling for like more cops, and these, I see these right-wingers defending police no matter what, like as if they could do no wrong. I know there are some good cops out there, but don't support the police no matter the circumstances, because if you think if you think it's okay for cops to kill unarmed black men, then you are once again are a racist. And if you think that more cops and arming safety advocates, arming teachers are gonna prevent more school shootings, then you are dead wrong, and I feel that will only perpetuate violence rather than abate it. And those policies, I believe, are not only rooted in bigotry and rooted in protecting your quote-unquote right to own semi-automatic rifles and bump stocks, but they also hurt young people a lot too. I do believe that the majority of white American Christians are either A, racist, or B, complicit in all the stuff regarding the police killings, Donald Trump, the ridiculous proposals by the NRA and so forth. I do believe the majority of white Christians, though not all of them, I do believe the majority tend to think like that. And with Easter coming up, I've come to realize that Jesus would not support the NRA or the Republican Party. Jesus loved the poor, loved the sick, and he did not hate anybody, and he did not force non-Christians to follow his rules. And there's a few things that white Christians are great at, and that's not all of them, that a lot of white Christians are great at, and that's loving the white, blue-eyed, chestnut-haired Jesus with Nordic facial features, as we see in all the paintings over the ages, and racism. And they've been great at that since 1095 AD when Pope Urban II called for the First Crusade. Yeah, I could go off on a whole rant about the complete history of white Christendom and white America, but I'm going to end it here with that I highly condemn the slaughter of Stephon Clark. I highly condemn the police killings of unarmed black men everywhere. I highly condemn the ICE raids and deportations. I highly condemn the Islamophobia that's been on the rise in North America and Europe. And I hope the police officers responsible for Stephon Clark's killing are brought to justice. I'd also like to say before I close out this video that not all white Christians and not all white Americans support and condone this sort of thing, but I do feel that the police worship I've seen around here where I live just is not good and needs to stop, if you ask me, because I know there are good cops and bad cops, but don't always assume that the police officer's in the right just because of what you hear on TV. And around here especially, I see a lot of people get their information from like Fox News, Breitbart, Town Hall, Alex Jones's InfoWars, Louder with Crowder, and all these alt-right sites, because they don't trust the so-called fake news media, which I'm going to cover that in another video. But that is it for today, folks. Happy Good Friday. I'm probably going to be doing another video on Easter, talking about the holiday in general. And that is it for tonight, folks. Peace.